Good morning. I'm on time. It's 10 o'clock for our 10-minute portrait today. And we're going to be sketching Boyan Slat, who, when he was 18 years old, founded the Ocean Cleanup, which has been cleaning up a lot of plastic. And you can see in the reference image here, which can be found on the Ocean Cleanup website, how much trash there is just at the beach. And it's been really interesting in the past few years watching what the Ocean Cleanup has been doing, how they've been developing and refining their technology, their systems for catching trash. And it's really cool that this is happening on such a large scale because there is so much work to be done. And yeah, it's really great and encouraging to see that it is being done and quite a lot is being achieved. It looks again like a bit laggy. What's going on here? What do I have open that I don't need? I'm gonna have to work on this because I got a new computer last year for exactly this purpose, and it should be flowing and smooth. But here we are. It's nice to have you here for today's sketch. And just closing a few things I don't need. And there are a lot of things we don't need, like plastic. Sometimes plastic is great, but a lot of the stuff that ends up in the ocean and a lot of stuff that it gets used for, it either, like, ideally the food, we have a close kind of access to it and a way of packaging and storing it, which is not detrimental to this world that we live in. And there are so many things like single-use wasteful practices, and a lot of it ends up in the ocean. And some of the stuff that the Ocean Cleanup has been doing has been trying to stop that before it reaches the ocean, and like putting up these big metal like catching systems in rivers where a lot of this junk is flowing out to sea. Is there... Good morning, Anori. Good morning, Cindy. Just wondering, why is it lagging? It got smooth. It got smooth yesterday, didn't it? I've got... Oh, secret things. Multiple versions of my browser open, which can be closed. Oh yeah, oh there, okay. There's a bunch of stuff too. So this is the thing, that having lots of tabs open will slow down your computer's capabilities sometimes. And now it looks better after closing that, I think. Let's draw, shall we? I was on time, but just had to close a whole bunch of things before this could really get flowing. So let's do it now. Let's draw 10 minutes with Boyan Slat. Here we go, right here. Across the page from Joe Williams, who I'm so moved by all of the conversations happening right now as part of In the Circle of Life film premiere and conversations. I've been listening to the chats, and if you have the time and capacity to be listening, watching, taking in these incredible conversations, and the film In the Circle of Life, it's so important, and it's really impactful, particularly for me right now. And I highly recommend checking it out because just there's so much understanding and compassion and wisdom, and it's really amazing. Yeah, because that's like the theme that we've been working on past week and a half, 2 weeks, is things that are, and people that are making things happen in the world which are contributing to healing and to sustenance and preservation and just, I guess, the ocean cleanup, tidying things up. There's a lot of junk and a lot of unreflected, misdirected ideas and things that have been done throughout the centuries, and becoming aware of those things and being like, hey, there are much better ways. And some of those ways have existed for a very long time. And that's a lot of what's in the Circle of Life and the Eternal Song film series. Like the understanding and the wisdom has always been there. And all these, there are so many indigenous peoples that are carrying on these ancient systems of knowing and understanding. And there has been a lot of waste and destruction the past couple hundred years, and just being aware and being able to slow that down, like having a reusable bottle to put water in, rather than it's so interesting to think back to my childhood. We didn't buy bottled water, but how, I don't know, I wonder if it was even in when I came to Germany, I was like, wow, so many people buy their water in bottles, and it's because the water that comes out the tap might not be so clean, have all sorts of weird things in it, like glyphosate, stuff from farming, which is also, that once you start becoming aware of all these different things going on, which are not the best for us and our surroundings and the environment, it's like, the first thing is becoming aware. It might be a phase of being like, well, it's so much, it's everywhere, what do we do? But then you clean it up. And that's what's really, I think, really cool with what Boyan has been doing. These glasses that are hanging from his shirt are also made from recycled plastic. And that's the thing, like so one thing is like use less of it in whatever situations we can, and it's everywhere. But just being aware of, the actual cost, even though it seems so cheap. Like, what is it? Why is there so much of it? And what do we really need it for? And then being able to reuse things. And it's interesting to think of it as a resource which has been wasted and polluted so much, but how can it be repurposed? And now that it's here, like what can be done? Because although it's so many big questions, but so many people addressing those questions and figuring stuff out. I've just been reading this morning about Transition Town, which I remember back in when was it? When I lived in Adelaide, I had friends who were into permaculture and transition town stuff, which was about transitioning to, or going back to, sustainable ways of living, and also in an urban context, which I think is interesting to think about. That was 5 minutes. Good morning, Lewis. Dear 10-minute portrait friends. Who's here? Anne-Marie, Cindy and Lewis are here. At least 2 others are. And maybe you're watching the replay, and I would love to hear from you in the comments. You can say hello in the comments. And if you have ways that you have found helpful for conscious use of, resources. And it's so interesting because it's like all of this stuff, all of the packaging and all of the plastics, like it started in the developed countries, or whatever that even means, the technological, the industrialized, the polluting countries. And it has been like, in a lot of cases, that trash is like exported to, all right, 5 minutes again. Like seeing the trash flowing down the river in Guatemala, and to be like, wow, what's led to that, and stopping it at the source where it flows out, but also somehow there being less of it, but it's like it preserves things. It can make things possible that have not been possible in the past. So it's like, I guess with any resource and technology, it's like having a responsible and reflected kind of application and use of these things. And like already, I see a lot of things where it's like this pen was made with 75% recycled plastic, and it's like, oh well, that's good, I guess. But how many of these pens are being churned out, and that 25% is still like, that's still a lot of new plastic. And I don't have the answers. I like to try and use less, but yeah, I think it's, even though I know that my effort is just a small thing compared to like industries and big businesses and stuff, just having the being able to reflect on that and be aware of it and think, well, at least we can try in our way to be conscious of what we're doing and how we use things, and support people that are working towards solutions and improvements. And it's really cool that that's happening. This has turned into a very rugged character. Interesting. The wind in the hair. Hey, Kati. Nice to see you in the chat. You'll watch the replay later, Anne-Marie. Great. Love this guy. Yeah. He's worthy of love. And it's interesting, like the journey, like how does an 18-year-old start this big thing? I'm not sure how long ago that was, but like to start, just be on the mission to, I saw something that said that when he was 16, he was scuba diving and saw more plastic than fish floating in the water, and wanted to do something about it. And it's great that he's had the opportunity and the access to resources to develop really significant system for catching plastic. Go back to how we used to be. Open veg and fruit, butchers for meat, milk in popping glass bottles that you give back. Yes. And we, in our neighbouring village, it's plastic bottles, but we get our milk from the neighbouring village, and they bring it around once a week, and they, with hot water, we clean out the bottles and they reuse the bottles. I do have some friends that are like, they don't want any plastic, because there's still like the microplastics issue and all sorts of things. I have some friends that are really like strict into what they let be in contact with their bodies, which is probably, if you have the capacity to be able to do that, not everyone does. It's probably a good way to be, but yeah, how things used to be. Like I remember when I worked at the supermarket as a teenager, and I saw there was this little section for organic vegetables, and being like, aren't all vegetables organic? Aren't they? They grow from organic matter. Like, what does that? Back then I was like, what does that even mean? And now we get our vegetables from a friend, community-supported agriculture. He's a passionate gardener and grower of plants, and we know that we're getting food that has just been grown not that far from here, and he also brings it around, delivers it. It's quite amazing, and we're really happy to be able to support him. And he's so passionate about vegetables. It's really wonderful. And it's like it's possible for these to be able to return to that, to be like, this mass industrialized agriculture, and there are so many people working on so many things like this. The idea of small farms in communities that can support it. The thing is, like, when you have cities that have millions of people in them, somehow they need to be fed, but there's so many places where things are happening, and there are, like, being able to support and sustain those kind of things, and realize that what we, how we nourish ourselves is really important. And ideally, as it has always been, that everyone that can eat from nature in harmony and synchronicity, reciprocity with nature, like that's the way. We've got to get back to that for sure. All right, 10 minutes. Hey, Rave 222. You will be in the background. You are in the background. This is the end of the 10 minutes. It's nice to have you here. You're from a small farm in the village. You grow lots of food. Where do your veggies go, Krista? Berries and apples. Yeah, it's so cool. Like, we moved to this place. So I'm finished. That was 10 minutes. But this is something which I think is exciting and important, and it's direct. Everyone eats, right? And I wonder, we just moved to this place a year ago, and we're renting, and it's like, what can we do in the garden? But like, just to think, to be able to grow things to eat, and for there to be enough for nature somehow as well. There's this balance between how much can nature have and how much can we have. That's a cool thing when we get our vegetables from our friend Claudius, that sometimes in the box of veg there'll still be some caterpillars in there and stuff, and it's like, so good that they are, they get to have some too, and that they're not just being poisoned and the vegetables covered in poison and you eat the poison. And there are ways for things to be abundant and in balance, and we don't need so much plastic going into the ocean. But I guess that's the whole thing. It's like, it's a byproduct of the oil industry, right? Like, I think, if I understand things, that plastic is made from oil, and there's the whole big thing. But that was it for today. Thanks, everyone. If you just joined, like Krista, you can just like drag it back to the beginning of the live stream and then let the whole thing play. You can put a thumbs up, put a comment in the comments or the chat. And tomorrow's the weekend, so I'll probably stream at a different time, because I imagine I'll be chilling with my kids at 10 in the morning tomorrow. But we're doing this regularly on weekdays when I'm here. We're sketching people who are doing great things at the moment, inspiring people, and there's so much going on. So good to also be aware that a lot of good stuff is happening. Sometimes it's tricky to be able to maintain a focus on that when we just see all the other things that are happening. But it's been really good for me to focus on all these people doing such great things, and teaching and sharing so much. It's been really good. So keep sketching with me. I love having you here. I love drawing together. And let's see if we can fill this little book here with faces of inspiring, empowering people. All right, have a great day. Um, keep whatever you can the winter without pressure cooking. Yeah. Oh, I'd love to chat with you more about your vegetables, Krista, and how you do things and stuff. Oh, love berries and apples and vegetables. All right, let's talk about it in future live streams or on Instagram, whatever. Connect. Send me a message. You can tag me if you're sharing your work, drawing hand emoji in the chat. Tag Boyan and the Ocean Cleanup. Maybe they'll see it. And I'll see you here again very soon. Have a wonderful day. Drink water from a glass or porcelain or something. And yeah, stay hydrated, stay warm if it's cold where you are. Not too warm though. You don't need to crank the heat right up. I'm wearing shorts and no shoes at the moment. And I'm like, it's a bit cold, so I'll put a jumper on. All right, it's going to be hard work to fill the sketchbook. It's a big sketchbook. I don't know how many pages are in there. I think it's going to take a while. But yeah, I'm on it. See how far I can make it this year, how deep I can get into this sketchbook. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you all, and see you next